Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash, for giving the opportunity to do another lesson today. I want to give double honor to the elders and apostle Great Millstone for teaching the truth by using precept upon precepts and line upon line. I just did a lesson about a famine for Jacob Trouble, and I accidentally pressed the power button on my phone. I kind of completed everything I wanted to say for that lesson, so that lesson's kind of done. So if it does cut off at the end abruptly, you know, that was by accident. But this is a new topic I want to get into. So this is another video. But this video is talking about how the nation know their judgment. All right, and the reason why I want to get into this lesson is because I remember from GMS Miami, they was talking about how the UN is now trying to say that the slave trade was the most, you know, the most gravest crime against humanity ever, and they're trying to pay reparations, and they wanted to build up a apology for it. But you guys got to consider, and they brought out a good point. They said that why are they doing it now? Why are they saying sorry now? When War Three is about to start, when prophecies coming to pass, when everything is starting to come make sense, they're saying sorry now. And it shows two things. One, they're washing the prophets. They're washing the men of the Lord and the Howays and Moways. They know the prophets. They know the prophecies. They know who the real children of Israel are. They're just not saying it. And two, they know the day of the Lord is near. They know that they're going to get judged. They know it's true. They all is just like, this is just oblivious time. You had never seen back in the days of UN considering the fact that Israel's so-called Negroes, Latino Americans should get reparations. Now they're talking about it. They're talking about how it's a greatest slave sin, is a grievous. It should never have happened. They're trying to be mournful, but they was really happy about it. All right, why do you think? How do you think their nation was built up? Through slaves. They're in comfort of their homes. They're eating good. These Edomites are fat. The other heathens are fat because of all of our back work. And now they're saying sorry? They know they're about to go in slavery. These heathens know they're about to go to captivity. And it shows. It shows through prophecy. It shows through by their character, by their action, and how frantic they're scared. They're scared. Or they're scared by the fact that Israel, so-called Negroes, Latino Americans, are waking up to the fact that they realize that they're who they are, and they realize that as soon as they figure out who they are and what their power name is, they know their rulership is over with, and they're going to be destroyed. And these nations are scared because now they gotta serve their judgment. They gotta go through captivity. They gotta reap what they have sown. They have what? Rape, rob, murdered Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latino Americans. So now they gotta go through it, through righteousness. Now, are we gonna rape them? Hell no, that's disgusting. We ain't gonna do no sodomite stuff that Esau Edom was doing. All right, but they're gonna be under servitude under Jake through righteousness, and they're gonna be going through it. They're gonna be going through it, man. They're gonna go through hell. They're about to experience, and they're scared. They're scared. These nations are scared of our eyes. They're scared. They're literally panicking. They're not. It is funny because it's like you could really see it now of like these nations panicking because these heathens, they're prideful, man. They will think that they're better than you. They think they're better than Jake. They think they're better than the black, so-called black man, the Latino man, the Native American man. They will talk down on you. They would look at you like you a bunch of niggas. But now look, they're all scared because they know the prophecy are real. Let me read this first scripture. Obadiah 1:15. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. So everything that you have done to us is gonna be right back upon their head. There's not gonna be a time where you heathens gonna be living good. You're about to go through hell. And they know it. These nations know it because of the fact that they're now trying to apologize what they had done to us. It's too late, man. It's too late. Yahweh Shemashai is gathering the nations in the Middle East just to F you up. He's going to plead his cause. That's in the book of Joel, chapter 3. Let's grab it real quick. Joel, chapter 3. Let's read verse 1. It says, what? For behold, in those days, and in that time, and we're in that time right now, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. So Yahweh Shemashai is going to gather Israel back up. And how he's going to do it? Through the elect, 144,000. All right, and the 1/3 that's going to be saved with the elect. You know, the elect that got kids, or they might, get some wives in Jacob trouble because, all hell's gonna break loose. Woman's gonna seek out for help, and they're gonna get help through the Jacob trouble. You know, you're gonna see 1/3 being delivered too. That's Yahweh Shemashai saving Israel, Judah, and Jerusalem, because you're gonna have 12,000 from each tribes, if I'm not mistaken. All right. Verse 2 says what? I will also gather, that's the elect I was talking about, by the way. All right. And they're going to have some, some 1/3 mingled with those 12,000. But anyways, continue on. Verse 2 says what? I'll also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. And that's happening right now. They're going into the Middle East. They're all America is drafting their men into the Middle East. The valley of Jehoshaphat. Yahweh Shaphat, or Yahweh judgment. All right, and I'll plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. They had divided land in Israel into two parts, for Palestine and for Israel, and they had split it and they are at war with it. That is parting their land. And they have what? Put us in captivity. That is what is going, and he's going to plead, meaning judgment, meaning crime, meaning anger. This is his vengeance. It's not a time where it's like, oh, okay, you guys were sorry. No, that's too late. Y'all are fat. Y'all got mansions. Y'all got food. Y'all was talking shit. And now it's time for your judgment. Now you want to say sorry? No, man. No, man. It's too late for that. That's too late. What? What? I need to read the book of Lamentations because you guys was clapping of our downfall. We gotta read that next. Well, let's continue on. It says, whom they have scattered among the nations, a part of my land. Verse 3. And they have cast lots from my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine. Oh, call out Yahweh Shemashai, calls a girl for wine, that they might drink. Yeah, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all coasts of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense? Because you Palestinians, you guys were the one who sold us out to Esau, Edom. All right. Recompense me. Were you trying to judge Yahweh Shemashai? All right. It says what? Swiftly and speedily will I return your recompense upon your own head. And that's why you Palestinians are getting fucked. And look what it says. 144. Call Allah Yahweh Shemashai. It says 144. Look, man. We're out of here, man. These nations getting judged. They're getting gathered to get effed up. That's what's happening, man. That's what's happening. They're you, you guys are fucking, oh my gosh. Like, dang, man. You guys really thought it was, man. Look, man, all you heathens are effed up, man. All you heathens are fucked. It says what? Because you have stolen my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. The children also, the Judah and the children of Jerusalem, have ye sold unto the Grecians. That's you, Palestinian. That's you. You the one who showed it to Esau, Edom. You sold us to the white man. That's what you did. That ye might remove them far from their border. Behold, I'll raise them out of the place where ye have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your head. And that's happening right now. Is not Israel, so-called Negroes like Native American, being raised up out of their dead state and knowing who they are? Yes. Some of them might not be in the right truth and right mind, but one thing you should know is that what? They're Israelites. That shows that what? Yahweh Shemashai is raising Israel out of their place. That means what? You're rising down. Look at the time. This is 4:14, but it's 1:44. I see 1:44 at the clock. I see 1:44 in the likes. Look, man, it's your time to fall. This is you heathens. It's your time to fall. You're not going to be ruling anymore. You guys, it doesn't matter how much you apologize, how much you say sorry, how this is a bad. You gotta repay what you have done. You gotta reap what you sow. You gotta go through your judgment. And Edomites, boy, you have it the worst. You have it the worst. You about to receive it the worst because you was the most profitless nigga. You was the profitless one, the profitless one. You know, the most disgusting one, the diabolical one. You know. So it's going to be a time. Verse 8 says what? And I will sell your sons and your daughters to the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them into the Sabeans, into the people far off, for the Lord has spoken it. Basically, we're going to sell you to slavery. That's it. You did that to us. We're going to do it right back to you guys. All right? And now y'all, people realizing that the prophecy are true. They're the nations to believe it. They're saying sorry. They're trying to stop prophecy. They're trying to stop. They're trying to stop. Oh my gosh! You know how it's funny because you could make an analogy out of this situation. You know how you a rebellious kid, that demon kid that he did all this. That he was talking all that junk in school and he was being prideful in school. But as soon as their parents heard it, it's time for them to go home and get the belt is there ready for, and they're scared and they're trying to make recompense by trying to apologize. No, it's too late. You gotta reap what you sow. You gotta get your ass whooped, you nations. You gotta you know you gotta get and the worst part about it is that Yahweh Shemashah don't even like you nations. He see you as spittle. You touch the people that he actually loves. Your ultimate nations. Oh my gosh, your nations are so messed up. You guys about to die. You about to die. Because the slave trade, Yahweh Shemashah did it to Israel because Israel was rebellious and was hard headed and didn't want to listen. All right, and Yahweh Shemashah did a number upon us. We didn't listen. We was rebellious. He did a number on us. Like geez, and that's what he did to the people that he loves. What he's gonna do to the people that he doesn't even like, and he doesn't even know, and he's taking vengeance. Man, good luck upon you heathens, man. You better have it at worse. We got Revelation 11:11. It says this, and after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from Yahweh Shemashah entered them. Into who? Into Jakes that was dead. No, let me read up real quick. Salakia. Yep. Let's go to okay, let's go to verse 8. Revelation chapter 11, verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the streets of the great city and lie in America. All right, and who's that dead bodies? Their dead bodies. That's Israel's so-called Negroes, and Americans. Why are they dead? Why are they considered dead? Because they don't have, the spirit of Yahweh Shemashah. They don't have the wisdom knowledge. They don't have life in them. They're just dead. And you can see that in Jake right now. There's some still Jake that's dead right now. The YNs, they're just spiritually dead. They're just base. They're just, the only thing you see Jake doing just is eat shit and sleep. That's it. That's dead behavior. You're not living your life. You're not trying to be creative. You're not trying to do something new. Love yourself. Be around. And they're dead. They're just dead. They just hate each other, kill, eat shit, and slip. Like base. That's a NPC behavior right there. Or that's Jake. They shall lie in the streets, in the city in America, which is spiritually called Sodom, because it's a gay country. This is a country that allowed sodomy around. And Egypt, there's a place where Israel, so-called Negroes in America, was in captivity. Why? Because they are the Israelites. Duh. That's talking about what? America. Where also the Lord Yahweh was crucified. Why? Because it was X'd out. All right, verse 9. And they of the people and the kindred of tongues and the nations, the heathens, shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their bodies, to suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves, meaning that they didn't give the Israelites comfort. You didn't try to apologize for what you have done. You didn't try to acknowledge it. You guys kept it on the road and said nothing about it. And y'all celebrated. You was happy. Verse 10, actually it shows, it says what? And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them. You guys rejoice over our downfall and made merry and shall send gifts one to another. So y'all was basically just saying, hey, the niggas are dead, they're down. We could do what we want. We could represent. Yeah, we could fuck dogs now. That's basically what y'all was doing. We could fuck dogs now. We could fuck our cats. Like you nation are weird, man. We could serve some fat man as a god. Weirdos. That's basically what y'all was doing. Because these two prophets, talking about southern kingdom and northern kingdom, prophets tormented them that dwell on earth. All right, you basically tormented Israel, so-called niggas like the Americans. All right, because they was ruling over you, was telling you what to do. You guys didn't like it. Y'all took us down, destroyed us, and then was happy that you could do what you want. All right, and everything that y'all do was just wickedness. Regardless, y'all wasn't doing what's right. Y'all was screwed. And now what's happening? And 3 days, what happened? After 3 days, after the days when we was in captivity, we was in America, we was dead, and a half the spirit of life from Yahweh Shemashah entered into them. And they stood upon their feet, meaning that we knew who we were. And the great fear upon them which saw it, meaning that what? You heathens got fear, because that means what? Yahweh Shemashah is coming back for blood. That means your rulership is over. Because as soon as you realize that because you got to think about this, you guys killed us, took our heritage, whitewashed the scriptures, made sure that nobody didn't tell us who we are, because you basically erased history. You demolished everything in your power to make sure that we was down. But now we've still figured out who we are, because the spirit of Yahweh Shemashah came into us and told us what's up. You guys are like, dang, this is divine intervention. So now it's like, Yahweh Shemashah is coming after you. You heathens know. They know you about to serve judgment. And it's too late. It's too late. You gotta go through judgment. This happened 10 hours ago. You guys gotta chop. You say you want reparations. True reparations is slavery. That's it. True reparations is you going to slavery. And you guys ain't gonna go there willingly. We know that. That's why Yahweh Shemashah is gonna take it from you guys. He's gonna destroy you utterly. I believe it's 1 Corinthians 15 and 27 talks about how he's gonna conquer. He's gonna put the kings down. That's how it's gonna be. Actually, matter of fact, let's not grab that one. And I don't think it's 1 Corinthians. I probably said the wrong chapter. But it talks about how he's gonna bring down you nations. But I want to grab Psalms. Is it 147 or 148? Let's see 147 real quick. Or it's not Psalms 147. 149. Yup. Call out Yahweh Shemashah. Psalm 149. Let's go to verse. Let's go to verse 5. Yeah, it says this. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Verse 6. Let the high praise of Yahweh Shemashah be in their mouth and the two-edged swords in their hands. Why? Why the saints? Why the elect is going to have a two-edged swords in their hands in the kingdom of heaven? Because it's talking about the kingdom of heaven. Verse 7. To execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishment upon the people. All right. For what? For why? For what they have done to us. To bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetter of iron. That's called slavery, buddy. To execute upon them the judgment written, dishonor have all his saints, praise the Lord, Yahweh Shemashah. So basically, there's going to be a time where we're going to put you in captivity. And you heathens know that. You know that. Your guilt is coming to show. You guys are trying to say sorry. You're trying to clean up the mess, but it's too late. You and your kids is gonna go to slavery. That's how it's gonna be. And you Edomites, you white man, that's over with. All right, because you guys had suffered the Haitian, the Jamaican, the Latino, the Dominican, all right, Israel, so-called Negroes, Latino, and Americans, all of them in that demographic. You suffered them to be destroyed. You destroyed them utterly. Destroyed the woman to make her a harlot in the street. Destroyed the man to make him a bug out, and he had to suffer, and he had to suffer this life. This is not life, man. You guys gotta pay for it. The Most High is gonna come for vengeance upon you, Edomites. He's coming for vengeance. There's no coming out of this. You what? And let's play the video so y'all can see what I'm talking about.
Hello, you're watching Eye on Africa on France 24. I'm Vedika Bahel, and here's the top headlines from across the continent. The gravest crime against humanity. That's how the United Nations General Assembly has voted to recognize the transatlantic slave trade. The landmark resolution was led by Ghana.
And they're starting doing this now. They know. Look, man, these heathens know they done fucked up. They done fucked up. They done fucked up. It's like we. Oh my gosh, Scripture says, knowledge shall increase. They know they done fucked up. They got the knowledge now to understand that they done fucked up. They got the knowledge now to understand that they done fucked up. And it's too late. They can't do nothing about it.
And goes beyond simple acknowledgements, asking nations involved to consider apologies, paying reparations, and returning stolen artifacts.
To consider. They're saying we should consider to say sorry because they understood that they're going to go to captivity. And they're prideful. Their pride's going to be deceiving them. All right, let's continue watching this because you want to hear this specific part.
The resolution passed even though the U.S. voted against it. And over
you heard that? The U.S. Hold on. The U.S. voted against it. Let's play it again.
Goes beyond simple acknowledgements, asking nations involved to consider apologies, paying reparations, and returning stolen artifacts. The resolution passed even though the U.S. voted against it, and over 50 countries abstained.
The U.S. voted. That's the Edomite for you, man. Well, let's grab a scripture real quick. Obadiah. Let's go back to the book of Obadiah. In Ezekiel 35, the whole chapter is going to condemn the Edomites. That damn devil. But he's the devil, man. This man's he's just a demon. But Obadiah 1 and 3 says, what? The pride thou hast deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the cleft of the rocks, who habitations high, that saved in the heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? All right, because this is Edomite. America is the one that's saying that, oh, we're not going to vote for this. We're not going to vote that. That's the greatest sin of all time. That's based. They voted against it. They voted against the fact that the slavery was not a sin. That's basically what they were saying. Who rules America? Edomite. They're the ones who's saying this. They're the one who's saying it. Oh, it's not. Their pride hath deceived them. All right. Verse 4 says what? Though thou exalt thyself as an eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, said the Lord, Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. Let me go down real quick. Let me go to Obadiah verse 10. It says this, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. And shame is being covered upon Esau Edom. And he's about to be cut off. And hold on. Slocky, guys. I was yelling, but you know that my voice. but yeah, it was where I left off, man. Oh yeah, Obadiah. Basically, it's talking about how the shame will cover thee. It's covering you Edomites, man. It's covering you guys. You guys are not gonna be. You're not gonna escape it. You know, you're not gonna escape it at all. It's just gonna come, and you can't do nothing about it. And the crazy part that Edomites had the audacity to deny the fact that they did this. Yahweh Shema Shah is gonna make you acknowledge that you did it. He's gonna make you know that you done it. He's gonna make you know. He's gonna make you know. What the hell is this? Alright, but that's what I want to get into today. I am kind of making these videos late at night because I just had the spirit to make lessons, and I just made 2 videos right now. in the middle of nighttime. This is spirit. But but Lord, he's edified by this lesson. I do want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadach, for giving the opportunity to listen today. I want to give double honor to the elders and Apostle Great Millstone for teaching the truth by using precept upon precepts and line upon line. Shalom.